Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, I ain't mad at that. First things first, I'm not a disc golf coach.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
Also, when it comes to backhand, I don't really know what I'm talking about, so today is basically just me in a field, bunch of frisbees, trying to learn how to throw further. And further more consistently. Right now, if I'm throwing like just a pure power hyzer, I got about 200 feet, 250 full flight. I got about 420 feet on just a nice hyzer shot, which might seem great to some of you. It's all relative. Maybe some of you think, Brod, pump those numbers up. I know, that's what I'm trying to do, okay? But recently, I kind of figured out a couple things. If you think my form's been looking like shit in the last couple of videos, well, that's because it kind of has. But I feel like I've been throwing further with a little bit less effort, or if not less effort, at least less tension and torque on my body, and it just feels easier to throw a little bit further. Maybe it's just because I got destroyers back in the bag. Who knows? But today, this is a very simple field work session. And we brought our bag out. We're going to throw some slow stuff to get the arm warmed up. And then we brought a whole bunch of destroyers, a few bosses, and we're going to let them rip. And this field right here, probably to right where they're all going to land, is about 450 feet. But if I were to launch it like all the way down to the other end, it'd be 500 plus feet. So that'd be nice. We'll see what happens. But we'll get right into it. Throw a couple warm-up shots here. And I'll talk you kind of through the few form changes that I'm kind of making. And we'll go from there. Very, very casual video today. Just a schmacker. Gotta remember where all these go. The grass is like obviously not long, but it's just long enough to kind of like hide the frisbee. So right off the bat, you might be able to tell, I'm doing kind of like a little crow hop into the backhand. Now, like I said, I'm not a coach. I don't know if that actually is good, bad. I don't know. I was a baseball player though. And I do know one thing. If you're trying to launch the shit out of a baseball and throw someone out at home plate, you're gonna crow hop that thing. And why not in the backhand, I guess, is kind of my thoughts. I've always had trouble with like getting at least I feel like I have trouble getting my lower body into the throw. My typical throw is very slow and like it's like a 2.5, 3-step kind of vibe. I'll show you that real quick. This is kind of my normal, which is fine, and it's pretty consistent, especially on like a hyzer release. But pretty much what I'm trying to, I guess, incorporate into my backhand is the crow hop, and that would look a little more something like this. And then there's another thing I'm kind of trying to work in as well, just kind of this little hop. And I feel like it just adds so much rhythm to my throw, and I'm 100% more worried about rhythm and like good flow, good timing over like technicalities of throwing a shot. That's how I grew up playing. That's how I've always played. And I think I got too many years of muscle memory to kind of change things. Maybe that's just me being stubborn. I'm not totally sure. The second thing, and I've actually had a few recent comments about this. I think maybe they stemmed from the U-Disc video that Blitz did. Or I always call Tech Disc U-Disc. The Tech Disc video that Blitz did on me, where it showed like my spin rate and all that stuff. And I'll get messages every once in a while of like, Brod, do you like cock your wrist? How do you get such high spin? And my answer is always, I don't know, I just spin it a lot. Kinda. I just have no clue, actually. That's just how I've been and how I would assume I've always been, because that super high spin hyzer flip shot since I was a kid was always one of my best shots in disc golf. That being said, you can always improve. You can always improve. And recently, I figured, like, why not just try a little wrist cock, you know? Almost like James Proctor-esque, where he, like, curls the shit out of it and then winds it up. James Proctor throws really nose down, but he throws high. And I don't throw high. I'm usually like a really low thrower, but I do have a nose down release as well. So I was like, maybe if I work on bringing that up, I'll throw a little bit further. And then you kind of mesh the two together, the little crow hop, little wrist curl. Next thing you know, your boy might have 500 plus feet of distance and kind of more of like 450 feet of like consistent hyzer. And that's kind of the goal. So I've always been the type of person who's like, I want my form to look nice, basically. I feel like, you know, in disc golf, obviously results are what matters, but sometimes having pretty looking form matters as well, because you don't want to play disc golf and look like a chump. That's just basically no fun. Now, the crow hop thing is something I've done from time to time throughout my career of a disc golfer, and originally the idea stemmed from Cale LaVisca, who, you know, Minnesota hometown legend, absolute weapon when it comes to mid-ranges and putters. And I'm like, why does he just make it look so easy? And then if you look at Cale throw, he kind of just does this little like hop, hop, and like throw.
Flip, 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 flip. Is that the same one still?
Yeah, it is.
I was gone for 3 years, you're still throwing the same disc.
You know, it's very simple. Obviously, he's not the farthest throwing guy, but he's been one of the best players in the world for like 20 years. So you can't argue with it. And so it started kind of with like the mids and putters. I was like, maybe if I just hop into it and then throw, it's like, oh wow. So I kind of started doing that. And then I just like hit every gap ever. And I was like, okay, so that works for accuracy. So that's good, because accuracy is most important, I would say. You know, I've always been a big advocate of mid-ranges, putters, whatever. And so Cale started throwing, or Cale's been throwing, but I started watching him throw. He's always been one of my favorite players. And I just really realized, I'm like, man, that backhand is so simple. And the crow hop thing, maybe I'm using the wrong term even, but just kind of like the little like skip into it, seemed like there's not many people that do that type of throw, but there's a few, you know. Most other people are doing that more like compact X step, and not that the crow hop isn't an X step. You get my point. But I was just like, man, that like feels really good. I was, you know, throwing mids, real smooth. And then that brings us to Seppo Paju, absolute legend.
Let's go, Seppo. Go in the bucket. Oh!
One of my favorite players back in the day, and I always thought his form was so cool. And over the last couple weeks when I've been kind of like messing around with this form stuff, I went back. I constantly watch old disc golf coverage. I don't really like watching the new stuff because, one, I know what happens, and the old stuff you're kind of like oblivious to what used to happen. But also I like watching the old school players. I like watching some of the older courses because a lot of times they're like shorter park style courses. Marty McFly, the Prodigy channel, Disc Golf Guy, if you scroll way back, even like some of that OG Joe Mez Central Coast stuff. But I was watching some Seppo footage and I was like, man, the dude just coils the shit out of that disc. But he also does kind of like a crow hop. And I was like, he's almost like if you took James Proctor's coil and then you took Cale's crow hop and then like sped it up a little bit, and then he just launches the disc. And I was like, I like that. And now I'm not saying I want to like, I would, if my form could look like Seppo's, I would 100% take that all day. He's a legend. But I guess what I'm saying is I just liked how his throw looked. I was like, that just makes sense. And not that I've always liked how his throw looked, but for what I'm trying to do with my form right now, I was like, I think that's something I want to try to like emulate, at least like take some things from. Now, you're probably going to see me throw and be like, Brad, you look like shit. I'll be like, I know, man. But I'm going to take this Thunderbird here real quick, try and give you my best wrist coil crow hop and kind of like see where it goes. And I mean, that's a laser beam. Probably, luckily I was out here not too long ago and I actually ranged a bunch of distances. So I happen to know That's like 350 feet, nothing crazy. But the biggest thing for me, if you've been a follower of the channel for a while, you've probably heard me talk about like, damn, my body feels horrible today. It feels like I am gonna fall apart, or man, my hips hurt. And a lot of times, however I'm throwing, it just feels not good. And you shouldn't be throwing a disc, and every time you do it, it kind of like hurts your body a little bit. So I was like, we got to work on that. And I've always been a little stubborn with disc golf because a lot of times I think you got to get a little worse to get better, and I don't like that. Especially as a content creator, it's hard to take steps back because when you're filming a video, you don't want to look like you suck, I guess. This is kind of the thing. But for now, we might take a little step back, and maybe not even a step back, but maybe just feel a little less comfortable to hopefully get some payoff in terms of like launching the absolute living piss out of a disc. That's just my thought, I guess. We're gonna go champion sidewinder here. This should get a full flight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, holy. I love the sidewinder. So that's this video, I guess, today. I probably should have been throwing some more shots, but I just wanted to kind of break down like my goals right now this off season. As long as I can get some solid weather days, I'm gonna be trying to hit the field a little bit more. I might take you guys along with it because I feel like I can literally just click record and, you know, let her buck. And maybe some people take some pointers from this as well, because I talk a lot and I just like to talk through my thoughts. And sometimes even not even for like the making of video purposes, I feel like putting your thoughts out and really like working through them, trying to articulate them, might help me as well as some of you. Leopard. Let's see how this thing flies. Loving this disc right now. Wow.
Sorry, she thinks she smells food.
No worries.
Come on.
Eagle. Still a few like not quite full power shots, just trying to be smooth. Was that leopard shot not just absolutely beautiful? I've never been the biggest leopard guy. I've always liked them, but I always felt like I didn't need them because I had like a beat up T-bird or something like that. But man, brand new PFN champ leopard. So absolute money. But see how the eagle flies here. That's kind of a bad throw, I feel like. Kind of slipped out. But throw a couple more fairways here. The birdie weapon. This thing's been kind of fun. It's a very, very good disc, honestly. Someone just threw a forehand roller at me. Man. And I think one of the things I really want to work on is letting, with this crow hop, I feel like it forces you to kind of like jump into it and like flow through, much like if you were in the outfield, you'd and launch through it. So I don't know, maybe people have talked about this before. I've always been the type of disc golfer who doesn't like to watch form stuff because I don't want other people's opinions like making me think I need to change things. But also I think I'm at the point where I need to change some things. So we're trying. A couple Brodbirds here, and then we're gonna absolutely launch some destroyers. Look at how this yellow one flips up. That's a Firebird, guys. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's insane. Also, guys, Brodbirds available probably today, Friday. They're probably out right now. This is maybe your sign. The final restock, maybe. I don't really know what they're gonna do, but they're available Power Grip Europe as well. So if you're in the European disc golf market, they're available over there. I think we set 50 of them over there. So go grab one. White one I think is a little more stable. We'll see. Oof. Yeah, way more stable. That's actually kind of insane how flippy that yellow one is. I love it. Also, I want my Firebirds to be flippy. I don't really like, I'm weird, okay? My idea of a Firebird is basically not a Firebird. All right, well, right now, we're gonna get into the big dogs. Now, these four, other than the bosses, but the 13 speed rim for me is a little finicky. We got PFN Star Destroyer, pretty beat up. Swirly like Star Destroyer, little dome, pretty beat up. We got this brand new Run 27 Emperor domey guy that Clint gave me. It's been going an absolute mile. And then we got the bottom stamp Star DS, which is absolutely beautiful as well. So we're gonna absolutely launch these things and kind of see what we can get here. God damn. So obviously I don't really know how far these are going. Definitely in like the low to mid 4s. But I feel like this little change so quickly just made me actually throw like decently far, which is amazing. Maybe it's just that I have destroyers back in the hand for the first time in a while, like I said, but either way, really enjoy them. These ones are going to be more of like the like flip up and flight, and then we'll throw some more on just like pure hyzer lines, kind of see where those get to. Ooh! If that comes out, that's so far. No! I burned it over. So it's interesting because I often will talk about the fact that 11 speeds are my favorite, and I almost think sometimes I don't even have the arm speed to throw 12 speeds. And I think when I get in that mindset, it's maybe during those times when I'm like, man, I kind of am throwing like a chump lately, or my body's a little hurt and whatnot. And then when I get back to where I'm like feeling pretty solid, I feel like I'll start launching them again and be like, okay, no, I can throw destroyers. Like, we're not a total chump. So that's today. I feel like I'm just putting a good move on them. And as much as like this run up is adding way more steps than I've ever used and everything like that, I do feel like it's relatively controlled because all my momentum is moving in a certain direction, which is, I think, super important. All right, Run 27 Emperor. Oh, turn, keep turning. Yes, that's a bomb. Oh yeah. These are probably going like 405. No, I think I think they're going further than that. We really don't know, guys. I could totally just be a chump. This Star DS bottom stamp, kind of my new workhorse. Absolutely loving it. Like neutral dome, feels really nice. I feel like it's just like your perfect destroyer. 171 as well, which is like my favorite weight. I'm gonna hit this one on a hyzer more and like see how it reacts. Oh, that's smoked. It's funny because I feel like that almost went the same distance as the ones that I'm getting to full flight, which is, I don't know, a couple PFN Star Destroyers here. This red one here, super like bomber, not the craziest like dome, but like a neutral bomber. And then this one I've honestly probably thrown like twice. So we'll see. We will see. This red one, I think I got high hopes for. Come on, baby. Ooh. Oh my. I hope you can actually see that. It's so funny because I feel like every time I go out to a field to throw like bombs, I'll throw a whole bunch. I'm like, oh, that one was a bomb. Oh, that one was pretty good. And then I get up there and they're just all in the exact same spot. It's like no matter the throw, it just doesn't matter. They're going 425, but we'll see. The left to right distance shot, I have oftentimes said it's like one of my most I'm not good at it. I guess I'm good at hyzer flip to flat, little drift, but then, a little fade. I really am trying to like force myself to learn that left to right shot. So I think it's more of a trust thing than a skill thing. I think I can do it just fine, but it's actually like trusting the line that can be a little tricky. Ooh, not stable enough. Dang it. A lot of these destroyers I haven't really thrown in like, man, like probably over, I don't know, been some months. Like sometimes I get a lot of discs and I never actually throw them because they're just backups. Another bottom, or not bottom stamp, but Star DS Beauty. I'm gonna put this one on hyzer as well. Come on, baby. Ooh, if that gets some turn. Oh, that's almost a gonzo. Overall, feeling solid. I think, like I mentioned, the biggest thing for me is usually if I came out to a field and I threw with like my normal form, it would just not feel good. Like I'd get, you know, if I had this many throws in, it would just feel like my hips would hurt a little bit. It just wouldn't feel good. And this just allows my body to really like free flow through the pocket, and I feel like just get such a good little hit. We're going to Star Boss. This thing, 171 Star Boss, absolute beauty. And then we got the old 2010 Pro Boss. If you know, you know. These are some of the furthest flying discs that like have ever been made. These are kind of the ones back in the day that they threw in the distance comps and always just went 1.5 miles. But Star Boss. Ooh. Turn. Oh yeah. Oh my. Same spot though. It always seems like it's 1.5 miles, and it's just not. Pro Boss 175. We're going hyzer. Ooh. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I ain't mad at that. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. Few more shots. I don't know if we got the Skystone PD2 first round score, which is more of like a forehand guy for me. DD1, we'll see what kind of, we might be able to like knife hyzer this and get some like nice late turn out of it. So we'll see. Ooh. Or throw it straight into the woods. It's not that flippy. It's funny because that's, I think, a walking trail that I almost probably murdered somebody right there, but I can't win them all. I've never thrown this disc backhand. At least I don't think. Maiden voyage. We'll see. Ooh. Not bad, but that's actually probably one of the shortest ones. All right, Skystone PD2 turnover. These are kind of bombers, low-key. Oh, I missed it. Dang it. Gonna murder another another person walking. Can't win them all, you know? But we're gonna go pick those up and I'll chat at you a little bit more. Since getting all my Frisbees back, I feel like I'm just rejuvenated. Like you don't know what you had until you lost it for 30 days. And I just want to get out and throw. Like it's so fun. And I don't know, this new little form thing, we're gonna be working on it. And you know, form's never gonna be perfect. But I think if there's one thing that kind of holds me back, it's being right on that line of like, I never would say elite distance, but like consistent pro distance versus like throws far but not far enough to like, you know, park those 450 footers, I guess. But so that's what we're trying to do. So the Emperor, the bottom stamp Star DS, and the Pro Boss pretty much went the furthest. A whole bunch of other ones are pretty much the same, but a little more left and right. The Pro Boss is the true winner. We're gonna measure on U-disc. We're just gonna start it here, walk ourselves back to where I was throwing from, see what we got here. The official start. The whole goal here, throw further without pain, throw 450-foot hyzers rather than 420-foot hyzers, throw 500 feet absolute piss missile laser bombs instead of 480-foot piss missile laser bombs. With that, I'm undecided on whether or not I want to do I want to throw like this only for distance shots? Or do I want to throw like this for all shots? Like, do I want to, I don't know, I guess utilize these form things in shorter shots when honestly I don't really feel like I need to change anything, but it's more of like, should I like throw all shots with the same form? Because in the past I use like many different little styles, and I kind of think it's like use whatever gets the job done. It's kind of what matters, which I think overall that makes more sense. But at the same time, I feel like if you can bring that consistency and that rhythm into your throw, that also makes a really big difference. So I'm just really not sure, guys. We'll see. And I mean, even if this like doesn't help me throw any further, I would like to be able to do the same thing just like with less pain in my body after throwing power shots. I just get fatigued, and obviously I need to get more athletic, get stronger, more explosive, but you know. Yeah, see, this is a little like disappointing actually. We got 400, yeah, it's only like 420 feet, which is interesting because I threw some shots more on like those big left to right bombers, and I threw some shots on like the hyzer flip, just like hyzer push up and, you know, really not get that full flight, I guess. And it didn't really seem to matter. The Pro Boss, although new, so it's not like a full, you know, beat in and stuff type of disc, it went 7 feet further than the Star Destroyer on just a hyzer flip to, you know, flat and push. So it's interesting because it's like I can throw the full flight distance line that you would think for most people, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, would go further than just the hyzer like push to flat shot. So I don't know, I guess, you know, we're right where I thought I was in terms of the like 420 foot like smacker hyzer, which is great, but kind of disappointed in like the full flight shots today. I do know the nose angle on those is something I need to work on because I just honestly I'm just not that good at them, and I never throw them in like a pressure situation, I guess. It's also kind of nice to know that if I need 420 feet, I can just throw a power hyzer, you know, with a destroyer and kind of flip up and push it. So I don't know. Probably make more episodes of this as we kind of continue to like work in the field with these couple like form changes and like just trying to throw further. But this is just episode 1, I guess, kind of like a mini series, nothing too serious here. Obviously it's probably the most casual video I've ever made, but maybe you took something from it. Maybe you're like, Brad, you're an idiot. You should just do these things. Maybe get a coach. I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one where we throw 500 feet guaranteed. Also, I do really feel like I'm one of those players who throws further in tournament in competitive rounds because I have like a ton of adrenaline rolling, and not even necessarily like competitive rounds, but maybe like actual on-course rounds, like when you're playing with people. I feel like I always have like a little bit of extra gear. When you're in the field, I feel like it's maybe hard to get that full top notch. So, I don't know. To be continued.
Creator of Frisbee Club, motherfuckers.
The man, the myth.
And right here, I have a frisbee bag. It holds all my frisbees, the ones I like.